one of the most successful and amazing parts of the exhibit was the collaboration I did with the Chicago Coalition for Household Workers. And I'm going to let them talk to you about the work that they do and a little bit about the exhibit and also a campaign they're working on now. So welcome to Digna and Elisa and Mirla and Lisa.
Buenas tardes a todos. Gracias por estar aquí.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for being here.
Yo soy una trabajadora del hogar y también ayudo a las trabajadoras del hogar para que sepan sus derechos.
I'm a domestic worker, and I also help other domestic workers learn about their rights.
Porque estamos haciendo la Carta de Derechos para todas las trabajadoras del hogar, las que limpian casas, cuidan niños, cuidan personas de la tercera edad, personas inválidas.
We are fighting for what's called a Domestic Workers Bill of Rights, which would provide protections for domestic workers like nannies and house cleaners and caregivers for the elderly and people with disabilities.
Estamos trabajando, nosotros somos de la Coalición de Trabajadoras del Hogar, ese es el nombre de nosotros, de Unión Latino de Chicago.
Our name is the Chicago Coalition of Household Workers, and we are based at Latino Union of Chicago.
Esperamos que todas ustedes nos ayuden a poder hacer la Carta de Derechos para el estado de Illinois, para Chicago, porque creo que lo tenemos muy merecidas todas las trabajadoras del hogar.
We hope you all can be a part of this campaign and help us pass the Domestic Worker Bill of Rights. We believe that the domestic workers in Chicago and Illinois deserve rights.
Estamos visitando a los senadores, estamos visitando a todos los políticos sabidos y por haber para que nos den el sí. Ya lo hemos conseguido con muchos, pero todavía nos falta un poquito y esperamos que ustedes nos apoyen. Gracias.
We are visiting our senators and our representatives, our legislators, and we're trying to get as much support as possible. We've already gotten a lot of support, but we still are missing a little bit, so we hope that you all can be a part of this. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. My name is Lisa. I just want to say thank you to the Hull House, to Heather and Irena, such beautiful ladies, you know, truly selfless people. I have an exhibit over at the museum, and they were so nice in helping us put it into words and get the things together over there. You know, I'm a caregiver. I've been a caregiver for 21 years, and I love what I do, and I love my seniors, and I love taking care of the seniors, you know. Through that exhibit, you know, we've been getting a lot of attention. And like Dina talked about the bill, you know, it's a lot of domestic workers that deserve to have some rights, you know. They in these homes taking care of these people, and some of them have been being treated real badly, sexually abused, mentally abused, physically abused, you know. And I'm just grateful that I'm able to be a voice for my sisters. Thank you.
I'm Mirla Baldonado, and I'm part of the team of domestic workers that are organizing domestic workers here in Chicago and the entire Illinois and hopefully the Midwest. So, yeah, I have a lot of connection with the Jane Addams. I went up again and explained to some people about how we got into this, and how we got was they were asking for artifacts. So it was hard. I mean, it's artifacts, it's museum term, and it was hard for us. So Jane Addams' staff gave us a training, led by Heather. And so what we did was recite poems of Carl Sandburg and other poems of Kevin Koval, of the Chicago Young Authors. And then they asked if we would like to think of a place and write a love letter about the place. and then later on think of an artifact, one that represents you. And so we have an array of artifacts there right now, and we wrote our own labels in a poetic style. And Lisa has sponge and diaper, and Digna has her broom. I have my Freedom Notebook, which is a journal about a difficult assignment as a caregiver in the suburbs of Chicago, and one that relates to the paper that we have now about the issue of housing. A domestic worker who had a foreclosure notice because they couldn't pay. So yeah, please help us. We're in the process of, campaigning for a bill to be passed, Senate Bill 1708, and it's difficult to get it out of the Commerce Committee, which is like labor and commerce fighting, Instead of being like a labor protection, committee, it's like also a commerce committee. It's like, employers both in that same unit. So yeah, thank you so much to Jane Addams Hull House and the area for covering our story. It makes us, more visible. From invisibility, we become invisible, and that for the work that makes all work possible. Thank you so much.
So we actually have a way that you all can support the Domestic Worker Bill of Rights campaign. And basically, just as Mirla talked about, it is a statewide law that would give domestic workers legal rights for the first time in our country's history. New York is the only state right now that recognizes the rights of domestic workers. Illinois is, or we could be the second state, which would be just amazing. And so if you all want to support this campaign, we're passing out these, what's called a witness slip. If you could just enter your information that you support SB 1708, the Illinois Domestic Worker Bill of Rights, we will enter that information on illinois.gov's website that basically just says you're a proponent of the legislation and that you support it. And so next week, when we have a very critical hearing with the Labor and Commerce Committee in the Senate, we'll be able to say, hey, 50 people just from this event support the Domestic Worker Bill of Rights. It makes a huge difference. So thank you so much for your support, and congratulations to everyone who is part of this Area Number 14 publication.